Hi, I'm Doran Ellen Bell Douton. Do you remember, if you're old, maybe they still have them, I don't know, double features of two Marx Brothers movies or two Mae West movies, or W.C. Fields for $1 in the Village, remember? Well, today you get a double feature. And because I am a true anarchist, I'm not going to charge you the buck for it. My channel is not monetized. I need to vent. I need to vent about anarchy because for years I've been watching the AntiFa pro-farce grotesque playing out in silent horror. And the time has come to speak about it. What set this rant off, and I'm going to rant, honey. I'm warning you now. If you don't want to hear a rant, tune out. What set me off was an invitation to a pro-choice rally. The slogan, of course, is "Which my body, my choice." And then at the bottom of it, it says, proof of vaccination required in order to participate. That kind of lobotomy is so typical of the Soros synthesized, grotesque, and insult to everything that is truly anarchist. That I just felt like the aorta, like I was going apoplectic, and I have to talk about anarchism. So first of all, I'm going to give you my anarchist bona fides. When I was a kid, my grandmother's sisters, my grandmother passed away when I was very, very young, so I'm talking about my grandmother's sisters talking to me when I was old enough to understand. They told me about the Coldwater Railroad flat that they lived in when they first got to the United States on the Lower East Side of New York. And I'm going to put a link in the description box below to a wonderful video by a New York architect whose grandmother was born in one of those tenements, and you'll see what it looks like. You'll see the kind of squalor, the kind of horror that they lived in. It's a real education just to see what that looked like. And my grandmother's youngest sister, the aunt that I was closest with, was also born in one of those Coldwater Railroad flats. All of her sisters and brothers were born in Poland. She was the only one who was born here in America. That's wow. Yeah. Once an American, always an American. My family dealt with that kind of crushing poverty in a number of different ways in order to survive. The oldest of my grandmother's sisters went to work in a button factory at the age of, I don't know, she was in her early teens. So she had to leave school in order to work in a sweat factory. And the trauma of that never left her. My grandmother married her first cousin when she was 16 years old. He was a gangster. I mean, a real gangster. My mother has told me stories about hitmen with whom he worked, whose houses she used to visit as a kid. I don't think he was a hitman himself. I think he was more into numbers running, you know, stuff like that. But those are the people he associated with. My grandmother's youngest sister became a lifelong socialist. And she was invited to China on a 2-week tour after the United States and China normalized relations in recognition of her lifelong contribution to socialism. One of my great uncles became an anarchist. Now, nobody mentions his name. I don't know why. I thought he was another one of my uncles, but his grandchildren tell me that that was not him. There's another uncle whose name is not mentioned, whose name I don't know. I don't even know why his name isn't mentioned. What I do know about him is that he joined the Lincoln Brigade and he went to fight in the Spanish Civil War on the side of the anarchists. That's how dedicated he was, and he died there. So I'm talking about a family that has real leftist chops, real anarchists. Anarchists who were, and socialists who were not fighting about synthesized issues. They were fighting to survive in a cold water railroad flat. And so these piss-ass issues that they synthesized in some Soros-funded think tanks that sway issues piss me the fuck off. I told you I was going to rant. Never heard me talk like that, have you? I can curse with the best of them. I know what socialism is supposed to be, and I know what anarchism is supposed to be, and I know what the real issues are. And when I see the farce that it has become, my blood boils. I am offended. Yeah, I'm offended by these phony-ass, green-haired, transsexualized freaks and weirdos who call themselves anarchists and prevent the real issues from being addressed, because that is their job. They are sent in agents of the billionaires to sway the discussion from the real issues. Thanks to AntiFa, thank you very fucking AntiFa much, we are now further away from the possibility of an anarchist society than we have been in the last 200 years. You single-handedly destroyed every anarchist hope. And that's your fucking job, and I'm calling you out for what you are. Soros-paid agents. You are not anarchists. You are a shame to everything that my family has stood for 4 generations. And what I still believe in with all of my heart. I know that today Emma and Sasha and Malatesta, Bookchin, Average would all be kicked off your lists and canceled. Well, fuck you. You are not anarchists. Anarchism is not about being as weird and bizarre and belligerent as absolutely possible. It's about being sovereign. It's about recognizing your own sovereignty and the sovereignty of everyone else. And all things are on the table for discussion, and every voice is not only tolerated, but listened to. There were anarchists who called Emma Goldman and Sasha and Alexandra Berkman and another friend of his with whom the three of them were living, the menage a trois were living as a couple. There were anarchists that called them degenerates. She never denounced them as anarchists, not being anarchist. The fact that that they were not able to accept her sexual orientation did not make her nullify them as anarchists. She understood that nobody, but nobody, can be anarchist enough in every single way. So the fact that they were sexually intolerant did not bring her to a point where she canceled them off her group and blocked them because they didn't accept her sexuality. She was happy to have them on board as anarchists for the real stuff that matters, and that means the economic stuff, and that means the social stuff. As a result of your being swayed by all kinds of synthesized issues, the ruling class is richer and more powerful than they have ever been, because you are such phony piss-ass nothings. The Christian right feels that they are morally superior to leftists, and that boils my blood. Because you behave the way you do and make anarchism into a farce, a contest of who can be more bizarre and more belligerent and more lobotomized. The things that are getting done are not getting done, and we are, the anarchism has never been more remote than it is today. And it's the fault of AntiFa. There are people, when they look at you, they beg to be wage slaves for capitalists. That if you're the alternative, they are grateful to be wage slaves. I'm calling you out. When Bette Midler recently made a statement that was important to cisgendered women, that is to say, and you can get as mad at me as you like, real women. She was silenced by fake women who are also fake anarchists and fake socialists and agents of people like George Soros. She couldn't get what needed to be said to protect biological women because of you bullshit artists. And I'm calling you out. And I have the right to call you out because I have paid my anarchist and socialist dues. I've been a communist anarchist all of my adult life, and you don't belong. And I know in my heart that you waited for Bookchin and Average to die to roll out this bullshit of yours, and I'm not standing for it. I'm calling you out for the phony Soros on his payroll bullshit artists that you are. Anarchism is too important. Anarcho-communism is too important. If Kropotkin were alive today, you'd cancel him. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to hijack what we have worked for 250 years? Bakunin wouldn't be invited into one of your rallies because he's too real. I'm calling you out. You're not anarchists. You're Soros-salaried agents. End of rant.